Okay, well, I think we'll get started. Selamat datang semuanya. Welcome, everyone. Tonight, I recognise the land of the Awabakal people where I'm dialing in from today. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging and recognise that sovereignty was never ceded. Thank you so much for joining us tonight as we bring to you Corethics' very first virtual annual Water for Bali Film Fundraiser 2021. You're in for a real treat tonight, so let me give you a bit of an overview of tonight's proceedings. Shortly, I'll introduce you to Corethics with an overview of our organisation, followed by sharing with you this important time of year as we celebrate National Water Week. You will then receive a Water for Bali project update, and I'll finish up my presentation with a discussion around this year's theme, which explores the impact of water scarcity and polluted water sources on children, one of the most vulnerable members of our society. You'll then hear from Emeritus Professor Tim Roberts as he shares his expertise and experience on the ground in Indonesia around water and child malnutrition. Then Corethics Secretary to the Board of Directors, Zubin Bilamoria, will close out our Water Talk segment by giving you a full rundown on the feature screening of Australia-Indonesia Centre's ReelOzInd Short Film Fest and Competition. Then it's over to you as we open up into a Q&A with our guest speakers tonight. So if you do have any questions throughout our presentation, save them for the end. Following the Q&A, we will announce the winners of our raffle at 6 p.m. So there's still a window of opportunity to stock up on tickets. We will close the draw at around 5 to 6 before the beautiful screening of ReelOzInd Short Film Fest. My name is Melissa McCabe and I'm the founder, CEO and executive director of Corethics. In 2016, I had a heart full of passion and desire to use my knowledge, experience and privilege for good. In 2017, through a startup grant from the University of Newcastle, I undertook desk and field research into the impacts of mass tourism on water depletion and pollution in Bali, Lombok and Sumbawa. In 2018, Corethics was founded to act as a vehicle of change with a focus on Bali, who, through my research, had reached crisis level and needed urgent support. Our Bali program is a direct response to the expense of mass tourism that local communities pay. We have all experienced the beauty of exotic places in developing countries, like Indonesia, and as borders begin to open up, let that motivate you to do everything in your power to redistribute privilege in this world. From idea to action, Corethics is now a team of 28 volunteers who work around the clock to breathe life into our cause, to create much needed change in the world. A very special mention to Adeline, Shamal, Pranav, Ruby, Shao, Monica, Adria, Sahani, Ali, Nina, Amy and Renee, who have helped bring this event to you. I'm constantly in awe of the talented, passionate and driven individuals who join our organisation and want to recognise their contribution. Our door is always open to new volunteers, so if you or someone you know might be interested in joining, please get in touch via our website. Corethics was established to create sustainable and thriving communities in the developing world, and we do this through advancing education and the environment. Our Bali Indonesia program focuses on the protection and conservation of the precious natural resource of water. We do this through our Water for Bali project, which we are all gathered here tonight, and our Waste for Wealth project, which explores the opportunity of revolutionising the manufacturing industry in Bali through circular economy principles. By treating wastewater, we have an opportunity to create wealth-generating products like biogas and organic fertiliser. Check out our website, www.corethics.net, for more information and for upcoming events in November and December. Happy National Water Week. Thanks to the Australian Water Association, the third week of October every year is earmarked for everyone right across the country to reflect, celebrate, learn, and be inspired by water. Water is the quintessential essence of all life, from fish to birds, to plants, to us humans. We can go days without food, but we cannot live without water. By making time each year to appreciate water, we invite you to expand this conversation to those less fortunate than us who do not have access to clean water. Corethics Water for Bali project is a direct response to the impacts of mass tourism in Bali. Tourism uses 65% of Bali's water sources, leaving just 35% for local consumption. And over-extraction has seen their main water source drawn from their water table dry. Saltwater intrusion is posing a serious threat and has been found in the drought-stricken north areas and in the south of Bali, which, interestingly, correlates with high tourist numbers in these areas. Bali is blessed with an annual rainy season, but with the fields disappearing for hotels and villas, sadly it creates flooding, then runs off into the ocean. So what is the solution? In partnership with IDEP Foundation and their Bali Water Protection Program, we take a root cause and evidence-based approach. Here's how your powerful donor dollars are making a change. Adopt a well. Building recharge wells across the island to capture Bali's high rainfall in the wet season and direct it into the water table to increase the availability of groundwater. This solution offers many benefits, including groundwater conservation, reduces floods and puddles, and stops seawater intrusion. This low-tech and cost-effective solution has been proven in India, showing an increase in groundwater within just 1 year. The cost of the installation of a well is around $3,000. Adopt a river. This education program targets school-age children and includes a recharge manual book, 8 copies of a comic book about water and general ecological information made available in school libraries. A curriculum of fundamental biospheric water are taught in 35-minute sessions, as well as tree planting activities conducted at schools. It costs around $1,000 to deliver this program. Adopt water. This involves public awareness campaigns delivered through webinars, talk shows, festivals, and other highly visible ways of engaging every person in Bali. It costs around $1,000 to deliver public awareness campaigns. Thanks to our donors in 2020, Corethics was able to contribute 1 recharge well to the Bali Water Protection Program. And this year we will help with their Adopt a Water or Adopt a River sub-programs, depending on priority. From 2018 to 2020, the Bali Water Protection Program has achieved 32 recharge wells built in 9 districts, 2,880 beneficiaries received education, 48 schools became Bali Water Protection partners, and 12 campaign activities were raised through festivals, talk shows, and webinars. But while we have so much to celebrate, we know there is a big journey ahead. As you can see from the progress dials, only 16% of Adopt a River program has been completed, 24% of Adopt a Well, and based on annual targets, Adopt Water is only 40% along the way. We need your continued support. There are 1.2 million children living in Bali, representing around 29% of the population. In 2015, around 70,000 children were living below the poverty line. That's less than $1 per day. And while 40%, about 500,000 children, were living in a household earning less than $2 a day. Poverty is an important factor in a child's ability to access clean water, nutritious food, and a decent standard of living. The World Health Organization estimates that 50% of malnutrition is associated with repeated diarrhea or intestinal worm infections from unsafe water or poor sanitation and hygiene. Access to clean running water, coupled with good sanitation and hygiene, is the best chance we have to ensure children, particularly under 5, are given a good start to life. Achieving access to drinking water, sanitation, and hygiene is crucial to further progress in health, education, and poverty eradication. This is why Clean Water for Bali is such an important cause for us all to get behind and spread far and wide. If there is one thing you can do in your lifetime, please make water for Bali your priority. No child should go without clean water, nor should they grow into a world of inaction of those before them. Now is your time. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Emeritus Professor Tim Roberts, a scientist with expertise in environmental sustainability. As director of the Tom Farrell Institute for the Environment, his research projects in conservation and biodiversity, water and soil and social license to bring about sustainable futures. Tim is also founding director of Innovate. Please welcome Tim.
I think Tim's on mute.
Saying that. Yes.
Yes,
So,
there you are.
finally, I am delighted to be here, and I'm just blown away by the statistics that you've just shared with us, Melissa. It is really, really fantastic. The job you're doing here from here in Newcastle for Bali, and indeed, I hope I can help. My background is not in Bali, but my background is in Indonesian Borneo in Kalimantan, and I've been there now 5 times, 3 times with University of Newcastle students, where we've looked at conservation and the problems of conservation of the orangutan and the proboscis monkey, as well looked at the increase in deforestation, and also learned a lot about what happens in Borneo, and a lot of what happens in Borneo indeed is similar to, we're trying to go down here, why can't we go down, page down, let's try that. I am stuck, why am I stuck? I'm not stuck. So what I wanted to show you was this, these 4 slides from Borneo. Here on the left, we have, these are all taken on the Burrito River, which is the main river running through Banjarmasin. And indeed, it is a big river, coal barges go up and down, but a huge number of people live on the river. And so I've highlighted the toilets in each of those 3 photographs, except the last one. The last one, the gentleman there is cleaning up plastic pollution in the river, but we have a lady who is doing her washing in the river, and another lady on the right who is washing her child in the river, another one down below who is collecting water from the river for use in the house. And this is happening in water that is incredibly polluted. My slide here is covered up in a way I didn't want it to do, but for centuries, the situation in Bali has been that water is shared. Water is used in the very sophisticated irrigation system that's been operating since the 9th century, and the water goes back into general circulation and is used further downstream. But as Melissa was telling us, we've got 75% of Bali's available water supply used by the tourism industry. Some 6 million foreign tourists visited Bali in 2019. And when we go there, we use up to 3 times the amount of water compared to a local person. So there's this diversion of water to urban areas in the densely populated south, overuse of groundwater. And what is happening is that water scarcity, water pollution is a major factor in stunting of children. And it's that word stunting that I'd like you to take from my brief presentation. Stunting in children under 5 in Bali. So in terms of stunting occurs right throughout the world. But if you look in the Southeast Asia, then Indonesia sits at about 30% of children under 5 who haven't grown to in a way that you would expect them if they were looked after with clean water and good food during pregnancy and afterwards. The situation in Bali, and this is data on Bali up to 2018, shows that the prevalence of stunting is slowly dropping, but it's still at about 30%. So 3 in 10 children are stunted. And interesting, I'm getting pop-up messages, but that doesn't matter. So stunted children occur because of poor nutrition in utero and early childhood, and also due to frequent infections before or after birth. And these stunted children have a greater risk for illness and death. A stunted child may never reach its full potential height, and a stunted child has poor cognitive development, leading to suboptimal educational performance and so on. So from the point of view of what we're doing in this wonderful seminar and a film show tonight, we are looking to generate some funds from Newcastle. So I urge you to buy raffle tickets, and perhaps you might like to consider the fact that because of COVID, you haven't been to Bali last year in 2020, you haven't been to Bali in 2021, you've got that money in the bank. So perhaps why not write out a check now? No, people don't write checks anymore, do they? But just go onto Corethics website and donate that money to Corethics. And with that, I say thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to the rest of the event. Thank you. Now, where's Melissa? She's gone. No, she's come back. If anybody would like to contact me, I'm more than happy for you to contact me as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim, for that incredible and insightful presentation. It was greatly appreciated. Hi, everyone. My name is Zubin Bilamoria, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors at Corethics. I joined Corethics in December last year, since I am passionate about environmental sustainability, particularly in developing countries. Water for Bali is such an important event for Australians. Indonesia is the second most popular tourist destination for Australians, and our Water for Bali event is all about finding effective and long-term solutions to water depletion in Bali. As Melissa has mentioned, we are truly grateful for all of your support in joining us virtually this evening. As an organization, we are committed to strengthening the relationship between Australia and Indonesia. Our decision to partner with the Australia-Indonesia Centre's ReelOzInd Festival and competition provides an opportunity for us to deliver on that commitment. Not only is this a fun way to gather like-minded people for an important cause, but cinema also has the power to transform our views, attitudes, and behaviors beyond borders. Tonight is Corethics' 4th annual Water for Bali film fundraiser, and is the only screening of the ReelOzInd Short Film Festival in Newcastle, with all proceeds going to our partner IDAP Foundation's Bali Water Protection Program to address the water crisis in Bali. There is no other film festival that brings Australian and Indonesian filmmakers together to share their work and stories in the same forum. The films range from documentary to fiction and animation, and showcases the incredible rising Australian and Indonesian talent as they take on this year's theme of connection or koneksi. Festival director Gemma Purdy describes this theme as the antithesis of the isolation and separateness we have all experienced in 2020 and 2021. ReelOzInd is also backed by an impressive panel of judges. Judges include film producer Andrew Mason, who is a producer of The Matrix, emerging actress Asmara Abigail, who starred in the recent film Mudik, journalist Bridget Delaney, who is a senior writer at The Guardian Australia, Chika Prahadi, a program director at Minikino, film producer Edwin Nazir, choreographer, writer, and activist Juliette Burnett, Australian filmmaker Tim Barretto, and finally, film producer Yulia Evina Barra. We invite all our guests this evening to participate in the competition element of the Short Film Festival. So after watching the films, please head to www.ReelOzInd.com and vote for your favorite movies. The short films itself will run for 1 hour and 15 minutes. And following the short films, we'll also be showing an online recording of a Q&A with the judges and filmmakers, facilitated by the director of the film festival, Gemma Purdy. So we encourage everyone to please stick around and hear from the incredible team behind the Short Film Festival. We expect the entire screening to conclude by 8 p.m. And just a note for viewers that some of the content of the film is sensitive, so parental guidance is advised. And for these films, a content warning is displayed before it plays. Now I'd like to hand over to Melissa for any Q&A from the audience this evening.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Zubin and Tim. Fantastic. So this part of our fundraiser is all about creating transparency about where our donations are going, a little bit more about the project. The best thing about having a local organisation is having access to the people who are handling the project. So if you do have any questions, feel free to shout out.
I've got a question, Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my question is, what personnel do you have on the ground in Bali? Who does the work in Bali?
Yeah, so that's done through our in-country partner, IDEP Foundation. They have been, they're more broadly an environmental permaculture organisation. So the Bali Water Protection Program is just one component of what they do, but they're really big on, educating people in Indonesia around healthy environments which create healthy people and healthy sustainable futures. So they're quite a big team on the ground, particularly in the Bali Water Protection Program. I believe there's a team between 5 and 10 that work together. So in terms of the recharge well build, there might be anywhere 3 to 5 that will head out to the locations. But they're a very well established organisation. And I think the step for us to partner with them was around sharing the same values, making sure there is that long-term education component, but also evidence-based, scientific backed, black and white sort of approach to solving problems, which we believe is very important as well. Yeah. I think Mary had a question. Tim, has anyone measured changes in water issues with the reduction of tourist numbers?
Yes, in looking at what's been published and what's on the internet more recently, certainly there has been a change from what I can see in terms of water availability because of the downturn in tourists. I don't have the figures in front of me right at present, but I believe just like in terms of atmospheric pollution in the last 2 years, things have got better, but what it needs is a coalescing of not only lower tourist numbers in that case due to this terrible COVID, but also it needs rain in terms of relief from the drought. Now, here in Australia, we've had a 10-year drought, but now we are at a stage where we are doing very, very well because we've had significant rain. I don't have at my fingertips the Bali situation. Perhaps Zubin or Melissa?
Yes, I know there's certainly interest in identifying that, but again, another part of what we do here at Corethics is, as you can probably tell, deeply motivated by research. There is, and what I found back in my 2017 research was there's a lack of information. There's a lack of resources devoted to understanding the data that's coming out of Bali. And I imagine the same barriers are occurring during COVID as well. People aren't, it's not in front center of people to undertake that research. And there's often a delay nonetheless to do so. I guess in the grand scheme of Indonesia, unfortunately, what tends to happen is, research areas will be prioritized based on extremes. So unless Bali was in a super, super extreme dire situation, then funding to undertake research into this area would not occur. And that's our gap, I guess, in community development, that no one is paying attention to this issue. And that's why it's so important. But as soon as that data is available, and hopefully someone is collecting that to benefit the people on the island. Sorry, Mary. Any other questions?
One from Cassie.
Oh, yes. How can we as tourists conserve water and reduce pollution once we are able to travel to Bali? That is a fantastic question. Mm-hmm. And something I'm often asked, I think when I was undertaking research in Bali and talking with a lot of tourists while I was there, lots of people were asking, how do we become a part of the solution? How do we avoid being a part of the problem? And I think a lot of that is, looking at the way that you travel as almost being a humanitarian. Instead of opting for those multinational hotels, opt for a local homestay. Go and meet with some local people, eat in local foodieries. That supports families. Go one better, go and visit charities across the island. They know what occurs every single day, and you'll get the information firsthand, which can be really empowering for travellers. We are so privileged to be able to see some of the most beautiful places in the world, and those would be my recommendations, as well as doing lots of research before you go and understanding what are some of the persistent issues in the place.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
In the last, 2018, 2019, I had the pleasure of taking groups of 20 University of Newcastle students, undergrads, to Borneo, and we lived very closely with buddies from a partner university in Borneo, and the change in the students and in myself by having 2 weeks of close interaction at the level of individual to individual really changed every student who went to Borneo, and all of those students, there's a total of 53 of them, and they are all still totally committed to all the problems of Kalimantan and totally committed to the friends they made there, and understanding the dynamics of conservation. We have to save every orangutan. Understanding it much better, because when you're in Banjarmasin, if you are trying to live, you need food to live and so on, and you need a job to give you the money to buy the food, and so it might be that there's collateral damage and some of the orangutan habitat is lost, or the proboscis monkey habitat is lost. And my students come back after 2 weeks understanding that that's a real situation. And also they can reflect on Australia. Australia in the 1800s did exactly that. We wiped out, the Caucasians wiped out a huge amount of land, of native animals and so on, just to get the sheep and the cattle growing. And at the end of the day, so exactly what you said, Melissa.
Yeah.
When you go to Bali, talk to the locals, understand what the locals are doing, and fall in love with them, because they are just tremendous people, just those friendships go on.
And I think that's such a beautiful point. And this is why I guess I drew on the tourism aspect, because in one element, it can do the worst of damage. And then on the flip side of it, it has the power to connect human beings across language barriers, cultural barriers, all sorts of things. And through this connection, which, like you mentioned, Tim, this is where my love come from, was on, a scholarship in Indonesia, where I was able to sit down with local people and form those connections, and they stick with you for a lifetime. Yeah. I think Jacqueline's mentioned UNICEF in Indonesia. Yeah, I guess the approach is different between UNICEF and IDEP and Corethics, where UNICEF is likely taking an emergency response. So we look at taking, while it might be a slower approach, but it's a root cause approach about making sure that water table is full. So then therefore giving equal access to all and reducing the reliance on plastic as well. Well, thanks everyone. We might wrap up the Q&A there. Thanks for all your great questions.
Great, thanks, Melissa. So now we'd like to thank our sponsors for supporting the Clean Water for Bali 2021. And thanks to the kind and generous business owners within our region, we are able to offer over $500 in prizes. Thanks to all of you here this evening, we were able to sell 23 event tickets and 87 raffle tickets and raise $1,460. All proceeds that have been raised will go to the IDEP Foundation's Bali Water Protection Program to build recharge wells and provide water stewardship to school-aged children in Bali. Specifically, we will be able to achieve water stewardship education with the IDEP Foundation Adopt a River program. On behalf of the team at Corethics, IDEP Foundation, and the Balinese community, we would like to thank Taronga Conservation Society Australia, Kalikoma Hill, and Tulloch Wines. Corethics is also a contributor to the raffle in support of our friends in Bali. I would now like to read out the different prizes this evening, and Melissa will be announcing the winners of each prize. So our fourth prize this evening is Kat Wheeler's book, Bali Days, Free Fall of the Tourist Trail. Kat is a truly phenomenal woman who is not only an author, but is co-founder of Slow Food Bali, an organization based in Bali that supports local producers and encourages restaurants to use more Indonesian ingredients. Kat is an avid supporter of environmental and social justice and has delivered a must-read book for all of our supporters.
And the winner is Wendy Hicks. Congratulations, Wendy. We'll be handing over a beautiful edition of Kat Wheeler's book for you.
Congratulations, Wendy. Now, in our third prize this evening is thanks to the continued support of Tulloch Wines. And we have a VIP wine tasting for you and 9 friends. You'll be guided through your private wine tasting by one of Tulloch Wine's experienced staff members, while enjoying a selection of local cheeses. As an added bonus, you and your guests will enjoy the benefit of being a Tulloch Wine Club member for the day, with their 20% members discount extended to you, as well as free freight anywhere within Australia. Valued at $100, you'll have till 31st December 2022 to gather your tribe.
And the winner is Simon Heslop. Congratulations, Simon. You have been the lucky winner.
Well done, Simon, and enjoy the wine tasting. Our second prize is a family pass to Taronga Zoo in Sydney for 2 adults and 2 children, valued at over $150. Thanks to our wonderful ongoing supporters at Taronga, you will be able to meet over 4,000 animals from over 350 species while enjoying the incredible views out to Sydney Harbour. Taronga Conservation Society Australia are leaders in conservation, education, and sustainability, and we are proud to offer this wonderful prize.
And the winner is Jana Seisner. Congratulations, Jana.
And finally, our first prize. For one lucky winner, you'll be treated with 2 nights accommodation for 2 adults at Kalikoma Hill Wilderness Eco Cabins in the Hunter Valley. Kalikoma Hill is just 2 hours from Newcastle, near World Heritage listed Mount Royal National Park in the Barrington Tops region. Kalikoma Hill provides environmentally sustainable self-catering accommodation in a forest setting. At Kalikoma Hill, you can see native wildlife, bushwalk, or simply relax in the peace and quiet. This wonderful voucher is valued at $320 and is valid till 30 September 2022. A great way to kick off our newfound freedoms. A big thank you to Jan and Martin for their generous support of our fundraiser.
And the winner is Casey Ramika. Congratulations, Casey. Lucky winner of our first prize, Water for Bali fundraiser 2021. Thank you so much. Now, we're just about to launch into the film itself, but I have one little request of everyone, if possible. If everyone could turn on their cameras so we can get to see who has joined us tonight, to give us a bit of a wave before we sign out and enjoy the films. So if everyone wants to switch on their cameras so we can see everyone. That's nice. Hi, everyone.
I can't see everybody.
You
Where are they?
changed.
What? How do I do that? I can't see everybody. Why can't I see anybody?
Can you see the grid share? Fantastic. So nice to see faces. Sometimes in a virtual setting it can be a little bit tricky, but we'd also like to say a big thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. We know that there are some newfound freedoms happening around the country, and I know it takes a lot to hang with us in tonight.